Asylum Justin Milamar for Revolution News here at Parliament Hill. Well, folks, today is May 9, Thursday, and you just like see here, tons of people that already gathered here for the March for Life that has been occurring here at Ottawa every year. But well, they're just starting the program with some music, with some worship music, and well, keeping the thing aside here, folks, is that one. Quite frankly, so far there's already been around like 300, maybe around 200 people that has gathered here at Parliament Hill, and looks like that there's more people that are gonna be coming to Ottawa today for the National March for Life. But well, folks, you know, if there's more than anything here, folks, is that well, it just depends on the situation, whether the far left, you know, the pro-abortion, the LGBT, the alphabet mafia crowd will be making their way here at the Parliament Hill, like outside of the Parliament Hill, to counter-protest the March for Life. Or maybe, they're just busy with their, pro-Hamas hate encampment. Maybe. Who knows here, folks? But nonetheless, well, we're gonna actually see how this March for Life, this year's March for Life will turn out. And we're gonna be documenting the whole march. And also, the thing here, folks, is that if we have the chance to talk to these people, well, we're gonna be trying to do so. But in events here, folks, let's just figure it out until to the end. And of course, that's what we're gonna be doing here. Stick to the end. Well, folks, here's the thing here. Well, I was mistaken with what I said earlier in my intro. But, well, of course, here we go. Just take a look at this here. So, we have the counter-protesters, the far leftists, the pro-choice, the pro-abortion crowd. Here they are, and they're saying the usual thing about abortion, saving lives, and all that stuff. But of course here, folks, is that nonetheless of that is that, well, quite frankly, they're on the other side as, well, the Parliamentary Protective Service is keeping the pro-life and the pro-abortion crowd separated. But, well, quite frankly here, folks, is that, this is what kind of, the thing that you're seeing right here is that, well, remember also back in Toronto last year, the Toronto March for Life last year is that, they're being met with the same crowd, but of course, the pro-abortion crowd. But what, of course, folks, is that, well, I don't think that I'm gonna be able to, well, talk to these people, but once the march gets going, maybe I could get the chance to, well, yes, talk to these people. But of course, they have the same slogan over and over again. But of course, here's the thing here, folks, is that if we get the chance, we're gonna be trying to talk to these people and have a civic conversation. But here's the thing here, folks, is that I'm just really hoping that they don't shut me down. Because, when it comes to this type of people, they usually shut down people who doesn't agree with them. That's the thing there. Typical behavior of the left. But in any event here, folks, we're gonna be actually going around, document, and try to talk to the people in the pro-life crowd. Well, folks, is the very ironic part was come to the pro-abortion crowd. They're chanting like, your body, your choice, my body, my choice. Essentially, it's kind of ironic because must come to, abortion, my body, my choice, but must come to, taking the vaccine. Well, it's the government way or it's the highway. And this is the very same people that supported the vaccine mandate. Remember that there, folks, 2 years ago, like 3 years ago, yeah, when the whole vaccine mandate started, which essentially triggered the Freedom Convoy to occur here at Olawa. Oh yeah, but well, keeping the thing aside here, folks, is that, well, so pure hypocritical because, when it comes to vaccine, apparently you don't have a choice to make when it comes to that. But also, when it comes to, well, making a life-altering decisions, when it comes to body mutilation, well, that's a no-no. Again, they no choice. But yeah, but of course here, folks, well, here's the thing here. We're gonna be trying my best to actually see what I can do and try to get their side of the story here. But well here, folks, quite frankly, I just don't really get it here, folks. Why on earth they're just like, fall in this way of their hypocrisy? Why on earth that when it comes to, taking the vaccine, when it comes to, oh yes, making a life-altering decisions, apparently you don't have a choice. Wow. But what of course here, folks, is the thing here. Well, the most very important thing here, folks, is that the crowd that is here in Parliament Hill for the annual March for Life. But of course, we have backing of politicians like Jagmeet Singh. As we have Jagmeet Singh, well, he's actually outside the hill, joining with the pro-abortion crowd. Oh yeah, so well, of course, folks, just see this video evidence for yourself. Here, folks, check it out. So there have it there, folks. So you can just see right there that considering this whole monumental factor that when it comes to, oh yeah, making the whole thing about this type of issues. I mean, well, the thing here with the parliament, the House of Commons, they just won't open the abortion debate. But, well, in the event here, folks, when it comes to Jagmeet Singh, he obviously sells his soul. I mean, he's a sellout. That's what it is here, folks. But, nonetheless, let's go around and try to see if we could get the chance to have a civil conversation with the pro-life and pro-choice crowd here. So you told me off camera about your questions earlier that if they're so hell bent on being being pro-choice. So would you mind explaining what you said to me earlier off camera?
See, I don't understand. If they're so hell bent on having choice, why don't they get an RAD or whatever that thing is called that goes up inside of them, or get their tubes tied, and then they won't have any babies, and then they don't have to murder the babies anymore. And I really don't understand. There shouldn't have to be big things like this when there's medical procedures that can keep you from doing this. So there's condoms, there's all kinds of stuff, birth control. So that's what my question is. I don't understand it. I hate people that, well, if you look at the back of my shirt, the back of my shirt stands for don't kill yourself, don't get the MAID program, don't mutilate your body, don't murder people, try not to overdose. Your life is precious, and you never know what 6 months down the road is going to bring. So there's always tomorrow. You can change your mind at any time. So, and that's my point on it.
Yeah, like speaking of the vaccines, I mean, that consider the factor that they're pro-choice, then like, why on earth do you think they're just like so hell-bent on supporting the government vaccine mandate, which prevents people from making an informed consent when it comes to taking the vaccines?
Well, considering I've never got a vaccine from the COVID anything, and I was part of the Freedom Convoy, and I stand against that stuff. So, and if they choose to get that kind of stuff, that's their choice. But that's the only thing I can figure is they're pro-government, which that's why they're pushing for the 15-minute cities. That's why they're pushing for the vaccines. That's why they're eventually going to push for the microchips. Like me personally, it was in 2021, I was hauling equipment they're using to make the microchips to go in your hands. So, and I asked the guy, and he goes, well, he was paid to make them. So, and he told me they're going to go into your left hand. And I'm like, well, I ain't going to get one. So,
and also I want to touch upon the MAID, which you have mentioned, is that the government tried the government tried to implement a national MAID program, and especially the Veterans Affairs, telling the veterans to get MAID because if they're struggling with their life, and how do you think this messaging that the government is sending to the people, especially to our veterans who are basically struggling?
What the question should be is, what are they doing with all the organs from these people that are getting the MAID program? Are they selling them on the black market? Is that why the government's pushing for it? That money's going into Justin Trudeau's pocket? But the MAID program, they should have cut. That shouldn't have even got off the ground, because all they're wanting is for people that are low income, that have any sort of disability or mental disability. They want to kill them, and it's sad because it's not right. So people, like I said, you never know what 6 months is going to bring. So
Yeah, so the other part here is that the mutilation of bodies, they, well, pretty much sure they believe that children can make a proper consent proper decision when
No,
it comes to puberty blockers. Like, and what do you think about this type of messaging that the left, these people are pushing when it comes to puberty blockers, body mutilation?
to be honest, they shouldn't be pushing puberty blockers. They shouldn't be pushing for these surgeries to be happening. And all they need to really do is send all these people that want this to see a psychiatrist, and then he can fix them right up. So it's a mental illness, not a disability and not a choice.
Yo guys, yeah, and lastly, if you to actually get a chance to talk to these people, what your message will be to them?
My message is the same famous thing that I'm known for saying is, if you're gonna pay for something in life, pay attention, do your research, actually talk to people before you go and do something like this, because again, you never know what 6 months down the road is gonna be. So,
Well folks, as you may see it from behind me, oh yes, the crowd of people that are here for the March for Life are now getting ready to march around downtown Ottawa. We have police presence here, so the bicycle cops will be escorting these people. And not only that here folks is that, well, basically the Ottawa police had completely blocked off the streets in order to make way for these people. So right now there's around like hundreds of people that are already in the streets. There's still some of them that are in the Parliament Hill, but of course your folks is that, well, basically just like I said earlier, we gonna be following the crowd wherever they go, as we're gonna be documenting it and try to talk to some more people here. And well, aside from that here folks, basically I'm just hoping that there's no tension that will occur here, between the pro-life people and the pro-abortion crowd. But nonetheless here folks, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see in order to actually be able to tell you the result of the National March for Life. folks, here's the thing here is that I just saw a lady here that is holding a pro-abortion sign. I mean, oopsie here, folks. Well, I'm gonna rephrase that. A person holding a sign that is basically pro-abortion, because, like, quite frankly here, folks, is that yeah, I wanna have to be careful with my wordings here, because you know what here, folks, basically well, I don't want to be put in a handcuff by the thought police for, you know, using the wrong wording to describe a person. So I'm just gonna leave it right there, folks, because, like, well, you know, these days here is that, yeah, misgendering someone is kind of, you know, a serious offensible thought crime. That's why I have to be careful with, you know, using words, because you might never know, the thought police might surprisingly put me in a handcuff and basically throw me off the jail for, you know, misgendering someone for essentially, you know, committing a thought crime. I mean, you won't want that, you know. But nonetheless here, folks, well, I essentially tried to basically ask that person to explain to me, if they would like to explain what they meant about, you know, abortion being a gift of God, if, you know, being a gift from God. That's what I'm trying to say here, and also to reiterate her point. But basically, dead silence, of course. Here, folks, see for yourself. Check it out. Do you mind explaining how abortion is a gift from God? Do you mind to? Would you like to explain your point? Yeah, so there you have it there, folks. You can just, like, see right there. You know, that's the thing with these people, is that every time you ask them to evaluate the point and you press them on the sign, I mean, kind of, you know, when you press them on that, you get is dead silence. I mean, quite ironically, because, like, you go out on the streets with the sign, and, well, when you're being asked, you just, like, respond with dead silence. I mean, quite frankly, it's kind of ironic there, folks, because, you know what, nonetheless here, for sure, this is the always typical thing we get from this leftists, or, you know, from the left. Every time I go and press them on their signs, or, you know, the signs that they're holding. But well, of course here, folks, we're gonna be seeing what else is gonna be happening here. Okay, you know, what else is going on here at the National March for Life that is currently taking place here at downtown Ottawa.
You know, the leader singer.
Well, folks, here's the thing here is that it is almost 2:30 here at Ottawa, and you know what, here, folks, is that, oh yes, despite the fact that the march is still going, well, it suddenly rained hard here. So, well, quite frankly here, folks, is that this is completely unexpected, quite frankly, because the last time I actually checked the weather forecast for today is well, supposed to be cloudy, supposed to be nice, but I was wrong, quite frankly, because well, so seemingly here that this is something that was completely unexpected. So kind of here's the thing here, I got the forecast wrong, kind of overestimating it, because well, here's the thing here, folks. Let me just be quite honest with you here. Is that earlier, before I actually go to the Parliament Hill, well, I checked the weather forecast for today. So, well, it says that it's kind of cloudy, but it didn't say that it's gonna rain. So this is kind of surprising that it actually rained so hard. But well, despite the weather, it did not stop the march from well halting. But now they decided to continue on despite the rain. So, well, quite frankly here, folks, soon enough I'm gonna try my best to catch up with them and continue the coverage of the National March for Life here at Ottawa. Folks, here's the thing here is that, oh yes, the National March for Life is kind of over in a sense of way here, because quite frankly here, folks, is that it is actually almost 3:30, I would say. And well, basically is that for sure they're just kind of having speeches here once again. But aside from that, yeah, so the march is over. They have successfully marched around the streets of downtown Ottawa and managed to send a message about abortion and made, of course, medical assistance in death. Speaking of, medical assistance in death, as made, is that, the federal government tried to lure veterans into taking MAID, which is completely unbelievable. Because apparently that's how the Trudeau government treats the veterans who essentially fought in a war and basically are struggling with their life because they sacrifice everything for the country, and this is the treatment they receive from the Veterans Affairs, which is completely hideous, ridiculous. But nonetheless here, folks, is that I essentially kind of so a person in the streets of downtown Ottawa earlier holding a pro-abortion sign, and the reason why I'm actually saying this was because I'm typically kind of been trying my best to be careful as much as possible, as I don't wanna sort of misgender and commit a serious offensible thought crime, because what happened is that I might get arrested and thrown behind bars for committing such a heinous thought crime, which is misgendering someone. But of course, your folks, nonetheless, it is kind of a success here when it comes to the National March for Life, and of course, I don't see the pro-abortion crowd on the other side, so it looks like that they left. I don't know. So it looks like they did their thing and went on their merry way. So, you know what here, folks? If there's more than anything here, is that for sure we have seen everything we need to see here today at Ottawa when it comes to the National March for Life, because, once again, folks, they surely managed to do their own thing, send a message. So, basically, pretty much sure we're just gonna see what can essentially be occurring with the weather, as they're just heading into the final part of this rally here today. So let's see here if, God willing, the weather will be cooperating with them or not. But also here, folks, for sure I managed to have some civil conversation with some individuals here, and basically that's just for what it is here, folks. For Revolution News, I'm Asilam Dustin Milamar. Folks, please consider supporting this independent journalism, as well that Revolution News doesn't rely on Justin Trudeau to actually bring you the truth of the story, and we don't actually take any pennies from his media bailout. So please, if you can, go to dollarbox.org/Revolution Freedom Reports. That's dollarbox.org/Revolution Freedom Reports. And by the way here, folks, if you can kick in a buck or two, that will greatly appreciate it, as it will help Revolution News to actually continue bringing you the truth of this story. Thank you so much here, folks.